I find it difficult to be playing multiplayer games recently. Every single time I try one, there's always something that makes me drop the game and never play for a long time. There's so much bullshit in multiplayer games that makes me resort to playing single player games. And I'll tell you what. But quick disclaimer. If you ever enjoy multiplayer games, that's fine. People have their preferences and there are some multiplayer games that I enjoy a lot. I am just stating my frustrations and my annoyances that multiplayer games have given me for the last couple of years. First thing I'll talk about is time. You see, we live in a world where everything wants your attention. Movies, phones, the apps we use, our jobs, everything requires our time and attention. Even video games. It is no secret that games can be time consuming, be it single player or multiplayer. But the thing with multiplayer games is that they require more time and dedication than single player games, and most of the time it is so obnoxious to the point where it will feel like a second job. You see, in a single player game, at least there's an end, at least there's a goal. Even if I put 70 hours in, at least the game ends. But in multiplayer games, there is no goal. The attention required has to be consistent. Remember, we're talking about live service here. They want you to play their game for as long as they can make you, and they will try to make you, be it through daily tasks, battle pass, limited time events, seasons, content drops, you name it. They will do their absolute best to make you play the game as long as possible, because that is how a live service game stays alive. And you have to keep playing to keep track of the constant changes in the game, because if you take a break from the game and come back, you'll be confused because the game has changed too much. And speaking of changes, that brings me to my second point: balancing. Balance is a dicey topic. It varies from game to game and people have different opinions on balance. But my issue is not with the balancing, but with the dev's serious obsession with it. If there's a tactic or a weapon or an exploit or anything that gives the players an advantage over others, case that one goodbye because they will take it away from you. Rainbow Six nerfs their operators. Apex nerfed the R99. Activision tried to nerf quickscoping but brought it back after the player backlash. And Fortnite nerfed the double pump. If you find an advantage or a special way to play the game that gives you the advantage over others, the next patch will kill that advantage for you. I want to read the posts that I saw on Twitter or X, whatever I call it. Here's an example from Modern Warfare 2. One requires a player to nuke an entire Warzone server, which requires 5 wins in a row, and then you need to do a whole quest while the entire server comes after you. A very small amount of players have done this. The other one is $25. This tweet is my third issue with multiplayer games. Progression is either non-existent or not rewarding at all. Last I checked, skins used to be earnable and showcase your skill. Skins and cosmetics used to reflect your skills. Now, I am not against paid cosmetics, most especially in a free-to-play game. But because developers are now so dependent on paid cosmetics, they nerf the progressions in their game and force you to pay money for cosmetics via the battle pass or the shop. Not to mention that the progression in multiplayer games nowadays is just mindless chores and grinding. There is no reward whatsoever, no incentive at all, and even the free cosmetic look worse than the paid ones. Progression is terrible and unrewarding. Now, those are my core issues. There are other issues that I have, and it depends on game to game, but these are the major issues why I am mostly a casual gamer when it comes to multiplayer games. Now, before I close the video, I would like to mention some multiplayer games that I've been enjoying for a while, starting with Warframe. It is an MMO looter shooter developed by the creators of Unreal Tournament. It has solid gameplay, tons of content, a good and helpful community, and while it requires grinding, it respects my time because it has a really good progression. There are tons of story content in the game and it is just fun to play. I had fun with the Delivery Paradox, its latest big update, because it is more or less another mode entirely and the combat there is so good that I wish it was a full game. My issue with the game is that it is not beginner friendly and it takes a lot of time before it gets good. I've sunk in 78 hours so far and I've not even reached the real story, or at least so I've been told. Nevertheless, it's enjoyable. Fortnite is another game that I also enjoy because it has a decent progression, the game is naturally fun, and it is packed with content, and it has the best battle pass system in my opinion. If you have other multiplayer games to recommend, please tell me in the comment section. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thanks if you watched it all the way to the end. If you have any opinions on this topic, please mention it in the comments. It's why I made this video in the first place. Like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more content.